Right, so Aisha Ibrahim has returned with Joy News Interactive. Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you, Israel. And you know how to join this conversation. First and foremost, you know it's a Friday, and you know how we do it on Fridays. Let's get that cold juice, put it by you, relax, and enjoy the conversation. It's on facebook.com/Joy News on TV, and on Twitter is on Joy News on TV. Now, with the return of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, some members of parliament are calling for a boycott of South African goods into Ghana to help stop those attacks on Ghanaians. Well, even though Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko has assured government is doing all it can to protect Ghanaian citizens from the latest attacks, I need you to share with me what you feel can be done to arrest the situation. Should Ghanaians in South Africa come back home?
South Africa, the indigenes, the people feel the other blacks are taking their jobs and other stuff, so that's causing that. I think education, if they can educate them that at least as their brothers, they also need to work. You get it? If they can actually conscientize them, educate them, and even blacks also going there, fleeing to there for growing up, to seek for good jobs and other stuff. If they can also limit it in a way and make sure that I'll bring in ourselves and our governments too. I won't blame much on governments too. It's ourselves, it's our mentality. You see, we think we have to travel, go outside before we can make it.
But I think it's time the authorities have to up themselves and put an end to certain things, because they are citizens of South Africa, so they think the country belongs to only them. What I think is that, let's take a country like America. America is a world country. There are people there, anybody can go there and work. So the citizens of South Africa should get into their head that the country does not belong to only them. Anybody who comes there to make ends meet should be allowed to work and work peacefully. And this is some of the reasons Africa as a continent is not moving forward. So I think if authorities, I mean, when I say authorities, I mean UN, I mean other international agencies, when they come on board and make sure that all these things are put to an end, I think Africa is going to move forward.
Ghanaians over there, as at now, I can't tell that they should come home, because if they should come home now, they couldn't get anything doing in the country, because where we are now, the country is even hot for us, and we are not able to get anything doing. So if they come, I think it will also be a burden for them, because if they come, they are now coming to set up and then start something doing. And now we don't have anything in the country, so it will be very hard for them.
It's very unpleasant, though, but Israel, what do you think about this whole xenophobic stuff?
It's unfortunate, but there are a number of reasons. Apparently, one of the things that's sparking this latest attacks has to do with the people in South Africa finding the president so unpopular. They're doing everything to make him uncomfortable and doing things to make him look unpopular. So they're embarrassing him essentially by trying to attack foreigners.
And you know, losing life it's something that we want to. But let's check what you've been saying on Facebook.
Kwesi Boating and says, the moment these South Africans start this xenophobic attack, my trust in their security agencies dwindles. I would have come home for the situation to die out before I go back if I am resident there. I blame our leader for failing the country, thus making Ghana unattractive to the extent that Ghanaians find another African country like South Africa convenient and attractive. That's not quite the issue. People travel to different countries for various reasons. Your country, even Americans travel out of America. So Prince Nurdin says, I think the authorities in South Africa failed woefully to condemn these unfortunate, frivolous and xenophobic attacks. Therefore, I urge the Foreign Affairs Minister, Madam Shirley Ayoko, to intervene on this perturbing issue in order to ensure that Ghanaians living there are well protected. Well, she says government is taking steps to do that. Sana Mohammed says this is madness on the side of the South Africans. It must be condemned by all in Africa and across, and punitive measures should be put in place to punish South Africa if they fail to bring the perpetrators to face the full rigors of the law. Richard Kweku Frimpong Manso says, sincerely, I think the Foreign Ministry and the Sector Minister in particular have acted quite swiftly and with some apt. As for Ghanaians coming back to sleep in the darkness that this government has brought together, with the planting for food and jobs being the only employment avenue, I won't advise.
Kofi Sam says, the South Africans must stay guard, else when we strike, they cannot stand it. Just as soccer boys and invisible forces will finish the whole country. If they don't know, they should ask those who lost elections and what happened to them.
Oh, there's one more. This one from Charlotte says, taking their women being part of the motive behind the attack is even annoying. I think authorities must take serious measures to address this issue, because if any responsible punishment were given to those who attacked the previous time, it would have served as a caution and the attack wouldn't have been witnessed again.
Interesting. Now, the overthrow of Ghana's first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, has been blamed for the decline of the country's fortunes after 60 years of independence. 51 years after his overthrow, members of his Convention People's Party say the country would have been better off but for the overthrow of Dr. Nkrumah. Question I ask, what do you make of this assertion? Would it have been any different if Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had not been overthrown?
Kwame Nkrumah was a visionary leader. I'm looking at the fact that he was able to set up different factories. That in his view will help generations to come. For instance, talking of the Akosombo Dam, earlier people criticized, but that is, I would say, the source of power as far as Ghana is concerned. So if Kwame Nkrumah hadn't been overthrown, by now we would have advanced in terms of development, in my view. So that is what I would say. Now the fact that as a country, our main source of energy is electricity, and he had the plan of coming out with such a dam. And so if he hadn't been overthrown, the manufacturing sector will have been improved by now.
I think Nkrumah has the passion of industrial development, and then if he hasn't been thrown, I think now Ghana wouldn't have been facing so much problem concerning this youth unemployment and all those kind of things. It could have created more opportunity for the youth to be like as you finish school, you might get something doing in those industries. Yeah, that is what I think. It's like, you see, in Africa, it's like we just have the passion for other people, and we don't really like our own people. We like the white people more than us we do. So I think that shouldn't have been the case. We Africans, we need to have that kind of collaboration and like Africans as we are, because the white people will not come here and do anything for us. They're just interested in taking our resources and everything away. And even when they come here and they put up industry and those things, the only thing they're interested in is just to get anything out of us and then go. At the end, they will not give us anything.
He could have done better than what we are seeing today, because he's got a lot of plans. From what history had told me, I believe that he can do much, much, much better. That doesn't mean that as he's no around, there's nobody to do whatever he thought of doing. But Kwame Nkrumah could have done better. Yeah, I mean, from infrastructure development to whatever you call it. I think it's okay. Education, health, manufacturing, which I think every country must be able to hold that, because at the end of the day, that is what the indigenes of that nation could come up and say that, yeah, this is what we have.
The difference wouldn't be so much, but then I think it could have been better than what we are seeing today. But not to say the previous leaders that we have not done so well. Look at the time of Rawlings, look at the time of other governments that have come to pass. They have added value to the nation as we see today. So if one were to be alive or he were still in power, the focus or the ideas he had that he built other infrastructures could have been better than what we are seeing today. Based on what he had in mind, putting Africa together as a bigger picture, it could have even been more awesome than what we are seeing today. Yeah.
interesting comments from the streets. We all didn't come to meet Dr. Nkrumah, but we've had a lot of very interesting stories about him. Let's see what you've been saying on Facebook.
Of course, and we've seen some of the great things he's
done too.
All right.
Definitely.
Kwesi Yepa says he would have united Africa at the expense of Ghana and giving out the rest of our money out as a loan. We had independence and money was made available for the nation's development, and the man was bent on using that money to unite Africa and marry. How many of his children haven't they resurrected after his death? No wonder he was just after the money. No wonder just as the money got finished, people got upset with him. Richard Kweku from Poman says Ghana would have seen lots of improvements if those Mateme chaps hadn't connived with their CIA agents to overthrow Nkrumah. We are still reeling under doom, so high fuel and electricity prices, high food prices coupled with an anemic city 60 years after independence. Nothing seems to go well. I wish Nkrumah is brought back to take the steer from this government. Nkrumah beji steer, no?
And Kofi Sam Klinsman says Osajifo was the best president Ghana ever had. He had great dreams, visions, and ideas, but sake of what he was overthrown. Ghana would have been the star of Africa, but for now Ghana has become something which is there. Okay, Osajifo will forever be remembered. God bless his humble soul. Hashtag Osajifo still lives. But there's this interesting app on WhatsApp. It just wants to look like the what do you call it, Snapchat.
Right.
So you can take your video and then you put it on for 24 hours. Your contacts will be able to have a look at what you have
your
to
status
say.
update.
And all
we
that.
have actually a video depicting that, but let's take the next item and then we'll come back for the video.
All right. So I don't know how many of you may have seen or spent, even, thought of spending $1 million in your life. But I have a question which would put you in deep thought. Question: if you were given $1 million and asked to spend it within 24 hours, what would be the first 3 items that would be on your budget?
I have my own business, and so therefore you go into it. I would just, for now I need land, and then after getting the land I would look at other sources of resources that will help me put up my business. So that,
that's 3 things.
one is the land, second is the material in the form of equipment, incubators, and then secondly is the housing.
Okay, if such a gargantuan money is given to me, I'll first look up to where I'm coming from. I have a father, I have a mother, and then I'll make sure that my mother will get her share, my father too get his share, and then if I'm having a girlfriend or a wife, I'll also give her some, and then the rest I'll use to establish my business. My mother has her future, and my father also has his future. So one, my
Interesting things people would do. $1 million. That's a lot of money.
I'll look at putting the money in some deposit somewhere that's going to earn me some interest.
A lot of interest, and probably you'll be spending the interest whilst the money rests.
That's more like it. That's more like it.
Right.
Bawa Hajara says, I would buy a house, many cars and stores and rent them. Cool. Kofi Sam Klinsman says, we'll invest heavily for my posterity and my emotional flag bearer. We'll buy lots of land and other valuable assets. Gatinema says, I'll first buy so many houses, as many houses as I can. Secondly, I'll try to put up a company as many as I can. Finally, I'll buy cars, as many as I can. Hold on. All you have is $1 million.
Okay, so I think we should check our messages on. All right, so yeah, the WhatsApp app. Let's
all right,
check
so
the messages that people
WhatsApp app, what has happened? And I just woke up this morning. I knew about it last night before going to bed. I woke up this morning and I said, let me try the status updates thing. So you see that you can actually load, typically where you can post a picture as your update.
Yeah.
You can post a picture, you can decide to post the video. and that video would be there. It's supposed to be there for
24
hours.
Yeah.
Now, during that 24 hours, anybody who comes to watch it, it's indicated that this person has seen
the video.
That way you tend to know, okay, so this person is actually interested in my, status.
It's an interesting app. I think it's very interesting.
I think it is.
And I feel it's a strategy to, pull people away from, going to Snapchat, because it's like a one-stop shop, having everything on WhatsApp, so you don't need to go anywhere.
So you load the status, and it tells you that, okay, this person has come to see, and you can actually share those status or send it back to the people, and tell them. And I've got a number of people actually reacting to it. But all of this is to keep people excited about, WhatsApp, and to keep people using their data.
Definitely.
So I'm sure the telcos are smiling all the way to the bank.
Smiling about this. It's all a marketing strategy.
Data is going to be spent, and they're going to make a lot more money.
I think it's a smart one. And on that beautiful note, we end the interactive segment. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. You know how we do it on Fridays. Have fun.